Hello, my name is Swatch, and no, the title of the video is not hyperbole. I haven't actually played that many survival crafters, mostly because the genre itself either bores me out or stresses me out. But this game, Abiotic Factor, manages to hit a perfect nerve right in the middle of my brainstem. It is stressful, but never too stressful. It can be boring at times, but never for too long. But that's not really what makes it great. What makes it great is its unique atmosphere and locations, and how it masterfully spoon-feeds you its lore and world, always at a rate that keeps you begging for more. Most other survival crafting games drop you straight into the snake pit, giving you its entire world at your disposal right from the get-go. This could be the perfect recipe for the player who enjoys freedom and creativity above all else. But for me, it never hits right. There is a fine line between too restricted and too many decisions, where perfection lands right in between. Most survival crafters usually land in the too many decisions department for me. Abiotic Factor, on the other hand, is a more linear experience that carefully introduces all its mechanics, themes, and intricacies, while still maintaining a good level of creativity and freedom that grows exponentially as you dig deeper into the game's world, which makes it land in the perfection department, in my humble opinion. The game's setting is a massive underground facility in Australia, whose purpose is to research and contain supernatural and extraterrestrial beings and objects. Very SCP containment breach core. Its graphical style is very reminiscent of late 90s/early 2000s PC games such as Half-Life 1. Which gives it both a nostalgic but also a fresh aesthetic. The soundscape and original soundtrack is very looming and atmospheric, with a rich amount of sci-fi synth pads and alike. All these elements combined creates one of the most intriguing game worlds I have ever had the pleasure to experience. It's both cozy and homely, but at the same time threatening and terrifying. You begin the game outside the facility, arriving at the site for your first workday in it. This small little introduction is very memorable, as this is the only time in the game you will enjoy the fresh air of the outside world. Sort of. Quickly after the game's introduction of something, of course, goes wrong in the facility, and all the exits close down. And that's really what you are left off with, a mystery and a will to get out of here. The game quickly introduces you to its crafting system and its electricity system, which is integral to surviving in this game. The crafting system works as you'd expect from the genre. You find items in the world and you combine them to create new tools. What makes Abiotic Factor's crafting system particularly interesting is because of its setting. The locations you will be frequently visiting are offices, research facilities, and such. So your resources won't be wood, rocks, or sticks. It will be computer parts, paper, pens, tape, glue, rubber bands, staplers, etc. And you're playing as a scientist, so you won't be crafting pickaxes and swords, but rather vacuum cleaners, walkie-talkies, Tesla coils, ray guns, and all sorts of inventions of sci-fi goodness. However, to be able to craft properly, you will need a workbench, a staple in the genre of survival crafting. Abiotic Factor introduces a twist to the whole workbench concept, however. For the workbench to properly function and be useful, you need to hook it up to an electrical socket, and this goes for many other contraptions and machines that you will be able to craft down the line as well. It therefore needs to be near an outlet, so you can't decide to build your base just about anywhere. You can, however, create extension cords as far as your resources allow you, which technically lets you create your base anywhere. But it is, as mentioned, gonna cost you resources. There's always a catch. And in the beginning of the game, you won't have the luxury of having an overabundance of resources. As you make your way through the game, however, you of course progressively acquire more complex recipes that allows for more efficient and secure base building and survival through tools, gadgets, weapons, armor, and furniture and whatnot. What will ultimately drive you forwards is an urge to solve the mystery of the facility's lockdown and what kind of entities and forbidden places lie within. And yeah, there will be monsters and creatures hunting you in this game. All the way from spooky creature that's pretty easy to deal with to horrors beyond comprehension. Please leave me alone. The whole facility is separated into different sub-areas or sectors, all with different themes and unique problems and hazards to deal with. If you think you'll be just walking through endless corridors of offices and cubicles, think again. This facility is massive, and when I say massive, I mean massive. The diversity of environments these developers have managed to squeeze out of a facility setting is absolutely incredible, and I assure you, you will genuinely not get tired of a 100% indoors setting at any point in this game. And when I say 100% indoors, I mean like 80% indoors. There is another aspect of this game that I must mention. You will, on your quest to escape this facility, sometimes stumble upon portal worlds. Some of the portal worlds are optional and some of them are obligatory gauntlets that you must conquer in order to progress the game. While the different facility sectors are truly diverse and interesting, the inclusion of portal worlds really amps up the level of environmental variation to peak levels. The game almost feels endless thanks to the vast amount of different locations you will visit. It really is a scientific odyssey. While the game is technically linear, each area allows for a variable approach to it. With that I mean there are several solutions to how you can progress through an area or a quest line, so you are rewarded for being creative and coming to your own conclusions. And this approach also promotes replayability of the game. There's usually a conventional approach or a main approach to everything, but there will be alternatives, and I absolutely love that. Another thing that promotes replaying the game is the class and perk system. In the beginning of each playthrough, you get to decide what positives and negatives your character will have. More negatives will allow for more positives. Simple as that. Different classes also make you excel at different things in the game, such as farming, cooking, fighting, crafting, etc. Build your character to suit the type of playthrough you are looking for. You can also tweak the game settings of each save file, making it harder or easier in selected areas. The true experience is by leaving all the settings at default, however. Oh, one more thing. There is 6-player co-op. Grab your friends and play this game now. I honestly cannot recommend this game enough. At this point, it's probably in my top 5 games of all time. If you haven't played Abiotic Factor yet, get it right now. Play it. With that said, this ends the spoiler-free section of this video. If you have played Abiotic Factor all up to the end of the latest patch, you may continue the video, or if you simply don't care about spoilers. But this game is enjoyed the most, spoiler-free, trust me. Anyhow, spoiler section incoming now, in 3, 2, 1... In this section of the video, I want to tell you about my personal experience in this game and gush about specific things that I absolutely love about it. I never recorded my initial playthrough, so when I show footage that is related to the commentary, it's either a recreation of what's described or something that represents what's described. I was recommended this game by an old friend of mine. He described it as a SCP-like survival crafting game in an office setting. He also told me about the coworker, the funniest entity in the whole game. Working hard or hardly working, and that was all he told me. It sounded intriguing, so I decided to check it out. I really didn't expect to get completely obsessed with this game. I honestly was already hooked at the intro of the game. The world, the setting, the graphics, the soundscape, the characters. I loved it all from the beginning. It took me a little while to get used to the electricity mechanics though, but eventually it all landed for me. The first sector of the game, the office sector, felt labyrinthian, massive and complex for me the first time I entered it. Little did I know it's the smallest and least complicated sector of the whole game, and little did I know how small it would be in comparison to the vastness of the rest of the whole game. The office sector is truly a drop in an ocean. This area introduces the first faction of enemies, the Exor. The first peccary, as they're called, that you face in the cafeteria entrance really screwed me over. I probably died like 5 times before I killed it, but my first big hurdle through the game was getting CPUs from the security robots. I never realized traps were a thing in the beginning of the game, so I just raw dogged it with a crossbow. It must have taken around 30 arrows for each robot to kill. Truly the first boss of the game. I found the Far Gardens portal and entered it. However, the first single Exor I found scared the shit out of me, so I noped out of there and never completed Far Gardens until like 50 hours later into the game for completion reasons. Upon re-arrival 50 hours later, I was extremely disappointed when I realized the whole area takes like a minute to walk through. Since I was too scared to complete it the first time around, it had become very mythical in my mind, a beast to be slain. So when I returned there and completed in like 2 minutes, I was like, oh. Anyhow, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go to Flathill. This is my favorite portal world of the game. The obvious Silent Hill parallel, the horrible creatures, the soundtrack, the lore, absolute cinema. This area freaked the hell out of me the first time around. I completed the first section of the area as usual, getting to Marion and opening up the shortcut to the exit portal. But when I was heading out to the streets and first saw a composer, I shat my pants. Am I supposed to run past those? I told you I noped out because of a single Exor previously. Imagine what these guys did to me. But from what I understood of my mission, I had to complete this area to progress. So I had to put on my man pants and cheese my way through. I actually could not for the life of me find a way forward through this park area that is sprawling with composers. So I went back to the starting area and built a bridge and put a jump pad like this and pretty much created a shortcut to the final section of the area, speedrun style. For the final composer room, where you have to sprint past it, I had to build up courage for a solid 5 minutes before I sprinted for the exit. Easy peasy. I got the power cell and escaped the area and made my way onto the next sector, Manufacturing West. This area really blew me away in how complex it is. It made me realize that this game is indeed huge, way bigger than I anticipated. Sector-wise, both in design, aesthetics and gameplay, I think manufacturing is my favorite sector of the game. This area introduces the Order, a human military faction that opposes the scientists in their goals. These guys were really tough to deal with the first time around, as I mostly used melee combat to progress through the game. I think this is a good time to tell you guys how my playstyle has been thus far and would be for the rest of the game. I was taking my time, collecting a lot of resources, hoarding them in crates, and building bases and outposts at every convenient point as I saw fit. Not really placing my bases at optimal location, more in areas I think just looks nice to have a base in. I'm also all for compact living, so a lot of my bases are pretty small. In the office I created 2 bases, one in the cafeteria and one on floor 3. The cafeteria base is no longer there as I moved it to the main lobby, but the one on floor 3 is left and looks like this. In manufacturing I built one base here, close to the forge. Then I built another base in the mines. This is probably my highest effort base, except for my current base. I'll show it later. I got stuck on one particular part in this sector, getting the solder. I had found the portal to the train, a really cool little portal world that reminds me of a conventional first-person shooter single-player level. And I had found the silver scraps, but I didn't really understand what to do with it. I had not engaged much in cooking at all in this game. I mostly survived on snacks, pecans, military, MRE, and whatever little junk I could get my hands on. So I was barely aware that you could make soup in this game. So here is pretty much the only point in my playthrough where I had to open up a walkthrough to progress. Anyhow, I made the solder, traded with a blacksmith and got all the parts necessary to overload the synchrotron and blow up an entrance to the next area, Cascade Labs. This area takes a big leap in difficulty. First and foremost, it introduces the game's most iconic entity, the Layak. We truly love to hate him. This creep scared me shitless the first time I had the displeasure of enjoying his Gameplay mechanics. I was sleeping, and when you sleep in this game, you play a little minigame where you jump over pests, the XOR minion enemy, to lessen the time you need to regain your energy. Suddenly I see the Layak coming at me in the minigame itself. I was like, huh? What's going on? And apparently that's a representation of how far away he is from you in the game itself. I didn't realize until it was too late. The sounds this guy make, still hear them in real life when I'm just minding my own business, doing my chores. This guy is an unstoppable force. The only way to make him disappear is to look directly at him, as he will only approach you when you are not looking at him, and he will catch you if you're not paying attention. You will find tools eventually to deal with this guy, but at this point he will be your number one enemy in the game. Anyhow, I made my way through the labs, set up my first base here, and made a little fishing spot. Got scared shitless of the Layak many times, looked through a lot of containment cells. I hope some of these are foreshadowing of what's to come, like this snowman and this shadow beast. The presence is also a freaky one. Your headphones get all freaky when you're close to it. I made it to the furniture store, Portal World, a zombie-infested IKEA, pretty much. Died once before managing to get through it the second time. Made a base here. Killed the Tarask, a Giga Chad alien. Made it to the Myco Fields Portal World. Did not realize you could get a heat-resistant suit from manufacturing, so I just raw-dogged the Myco's Fields by speedrunning it and dying like 10 times. Got the stuff I needed and proceeded to the freakiest sector of the whole game, the security sector. The first time around, this place was a nightmare. This sector absolutely sucks, but in a good way. The power is completely out, so you cannot hook up a workbench. Except if you're a giga gamer and find a secret electrical socket up here, or go down this zombie-infested parking lot, or hook up a laser converter to this laser right here. But I never did that on my first visit, so it was me, the darkness, and the one single evil thing that lives here. The Reaper. He will show up and hunt you down, and if he catches you, he will send you to the Night Realm, which is this Elden Ring inspired castle world. It is actually peaceful here, so it could definitely be worse, but it eats up time to find your way out of here every time you get caught. And if you want to make progress through this sector, you mostly need to stay in the real world. This is the shortest sector of the whole game, but it feels endless when you're feeling constant despair in this dark hellhole. Getting out of here felt amazing, and I was excited to get to the next area, the Hydroplant. This sector is very big, but at the same time not that big. Most of it is covered in water, and that fact scared me shitless. This area is actually the one that scared me the most in the entire game. Knowing this game, when I first took a look at the water, I told myself, that water is gonna have a huge terrifying fish in it which will hunt me down. And I was right to believe so. In the water there is a large fish that is immortal and will pretty much one-shot kill you on sight. The Dark Water Beast. And you have to get past the water to reach the Reservoir, where there is a portal world you need to visit to progress the game. There are two ways to do it. Either you find the recipe for the swimsuit and dive your way through the lake below the reservoir to get in from below with a high potential to face the Dark Water Beast. Or you get a jetpack and fly over it. I decided to get the jetpack and fly over it. I am absolutely terrified of deep water, and especially of huge monster fish in it. Even just touching the water in this game gives me instant panic. I hate it so much. I made it to Reservoir, a snowland portal world where a Yeti lives. Struggled super hard to get through this portal world as the enemies are tough as hell. Ignored the Yeti at the end cause I was dying when I got there. Got the stuff I needed to progress and made it to the next sector. Oh yeah, I made this base as well, and this fishing area. On to the next, the Reactor Sector. This area is massive and is split into 6 areas. Power services, the main central hub, Dusk Reactor, Cloud Reactor, Mist Reactor, and Gale Reactor. This sector is super diverse, but overall I think it's my least favorite sector of the game. Cloud Reactor is actually amazing, but the rest I'm not too fond of. Every area of this game is good, of course, but some are better than others. You'll begin at Power Services, where I built this base. Reactors is also where you will learn the teleport recipe, which will allow you to make a fast travel network all across the world. I made it to Village Dendaku Year, which is an Exor village portal world. This is my least favorite portal world. It is just in general a bit boring. It is a bit too derivative of already existing portal worlds that you have visited. The setting doesn't feel as creative and imaginative as many others in the game, and the enemies here are tanky as all hell. I managed to complete this portal world after a lot of struggle, and I gathered the resources I needed to progress to the rest of the reactors. Eventually I got to Dusk Reactor, where I built this little base. Then to Cloud Reactor, where I built this base. In Mist Reactor, I didn't build any base. I just hated this place so much. I just wanted to get out of here as quick as possible. Gale Reactor was very similar, especially since the Dark Water Beast makes a triumphant return at the bottom of this area. After finally completing all the reactors, the middle opens up and you get into the Shadow Gate portal world, the headquarters of the newly introduced faction, the Gatekeepers. A cultish human faction that are very sci-fi magic mumbo jumbo core. Shadowgate is just an oppressive gauntlet of powerful enemies and obstacles. Not one of my favorite areas for sure, but definitely appropriate for a late game portal world. It really felt like a final area, and I was almost sure it was until I completed it and was introduced to another area where the game ended for now. I am infinitely excited for the conclusion of the game that arrives very soon this summer. This game is honestly one of the best games I have ever played, and I have played a lot of games. Currently, I'm just trying to 100% everything that can be done in this game and extend my portal network and my current base, which I have located in the Mirror World, an optional portal world that is completely flat. I really recommend having your base here as it's free from any kind of hazards except portal storms. Alright. Thanks for listening to this Abiotic Factor Jap session. I might do some more Abiotic Factor content in the future, as there's so much to talk about in this game. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.